All right, ladies and gentlemen, today there was a video put out saying that it was more worse than what we thought. Look at that video, and there was also a press release. So we're also going to check that out real quick so I can get the my videos in today and be all good with it. Now, if I can find this, okay, here is where they're saying how bad the scene was in his hotel room, supposedly, or room, whether it was at his mother's or his hotel room, but we're going to find that out real quick. Let me post that in my description. All right, let's check this out.
About the deaths of producer actor Rob Reiner and his wife, all signs pointing to their son, who's now in custody. TMZ's Michael Babcock live in Los Angeles. Hey there, Michael.
Hey, Lauren. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing okay. We talked on my streaming show, The Post, yesterday, and you revealed that there was this big blowout, a fight between Rob and his wife and their son at Conan O'Brien's big holiday party. And now I see on TMZ that you guys have learned that he actually checked into a hotel in Santa Monica at 4 o'clock in the morning Sunday.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Lauren. And it's significant because a couple hours later, after he checks in, Nick checks into this hotel in Santa Monica, miles away from where the Reiner home was, and he no signs of anything being off at that time at 4 a.m. Pays with his credit card, one night stay. The room service comes in a couple hours later, and there's blood all over the room, everywhere. I mean, shower, bed sheets, everywhere, Lauren. The window had been covered with the sheet. And remember, now that's him checking in at 4 a.m. The timeline now becomes a lot more clear because before they were found at around 4 p.m., just shy of 4 p.m. So now we know that he has checked in at 4 a.m. and obviously was seemingly, very, very bloodied at that point. If there was blood all over the room. So, I think it's an important piece for the investigators here. Yeah. He is currently locked up right now. He was arrested a couple hours later. Robbery homicide, went to the hotel. It's an elite task force of detectives out here. They went to the hotel. They investigate. They say, okay, this obviously does not look right. Mm-hmm. The robbery homicide then with the U.S. Marshals help. So they had some help from the feds. They ultimately went and they found him in a place called Exposition Park, which was miles away from where the hotel was. And he was placed under arrest. And obviously now he is in custody, no bond. Originally it was $4 million. Now they have knocked that down to just no bond at all. So he cannot be free.
All right. So the maids go in and find the place in the hotel that he just got. Blood all over it. Showers and all over the room or whatever. What the heck? Were the murders done there or at the house? Very interesting. That much blood all over the. I don't know. Was he bleeding? Did he try and kill himself? I don't know. Did he? We don't know. But very interesting. All right, now let's take a look also at the press release. The great JLR's channel. Copy that.
For there. This person is saying that basically he did meth over the years. He did not sleep for days. He would have outbursts. He would break things. He would punch walls. He was a ticking time bomb. His drug use was getting worse, and his parents wanted him out. Been like a revolving door all his adult life. It's a former friend has said he's been living in a guest house at the parents' mansion. Guest house. Woo! Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So, we've learned a lot. I really never really knew about this guy prior to the, a lot of these celebrities.
All right. My question is, if he was living on the property of where the parents were, is that where they went in there and they found blood all over the shower and all over the place? Or was it at the hotel? Now, what story is right? I don't know. If he lived on the property in a guest house on the property, then maybe he did plan it. That's why he went and got a room so he can go clean up or whatever. But boy, did it turn into a mess. All right, let's watch this press release here.
Have children and stuff, and a lot of times the children, unless they choose to come out, some of them, follow the footsteps as their family members or help them in any way, shape, or form. But we never really hear about the celebrities' children all like that. But I've learned so much in just the last 48 hours since this terrible tragedy happened. I never even knew that this was going on.
Great. And then LAPD on that side. Perfect. So this is going to be an update on the homicide investigation of Rob Riener and Michelle Riener. You're going to hear from the Chief of Police, Jim McDonald from the Los Angeles Police Department, and the District Attorney, Nathan Hochman. Just want to level expectations. We will allow some time for questions, but because this is a preliminary investigation still, very active, it's being filed as we speak. There's not a lot we're going to be able to say right now. Also, if you would, please quote one question at a time so that we can hear the question and answer it appropriately. So if we could have that decorum in here. DA Nathan Hochman.
My name is Nathan Hochman. I'm the District Attorney of Los Angeles County. Today, I'm here to announce that our office will be filing charges against Nick Riener, who is accused of killing his parents, actor-director Rob Riener, and photographer-producer Michelle Singer Riener. These charges will be 2 counts of first-degree murder with a special circumstance of multiple murders. He also faces a special allegation that he personally used a dangerous and deadly weapon, that being a knife. These charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. No decision at this point has been made with respect to the death penalty. We have requested, and currently Nick Riener is being held without bail. Now, in announcing these charges, I also want to announce that they're just that. They are charges. Charges are not evidence. Evidence is something that we will be presenting in a court of law to meet the standard of proof we meet in every criminal case, which is beyond a reasonable doubt, to 12 jurors who you'll unanimously have to find that we've met that standard to prove the charges we bring to court. Right now, with respect to the process, once the charges get filed this afternoon, Nick Riener will be then brought to court. He is going through medical clearance, something that everybody who gets arrested and gets held in a Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department jail.
You have to go through a 5150 review, right? In California. Everybody knows that. Eddie Van Halen studio, 5150. Madness went on in there. Kinds of shredding. And other things to say, but we won't talk about that. No. So, they got them. They're charging them. Do they got a weapon, is my question. Do they have the murder weapon? Let's continue.
Goes through. Once he is medically cleared, he will be brought to court to be arraigned on these charges. At that point, he will enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. Now, prosecuting these cases involving family members are some of the most challenging and most heart-wrenching cases that this office faces because of the intimate and often brutal nature of the crimes involved. Rob Reiner was a brilliant actor and director, an iconic force in our entertainment industry for decades. His wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, was an equally iconic photographer and producer. Their loss is beyond tragic.
Yes,
and we will commit ourselves to bringing their murderer to justice.
You're not getting anything.
I want to thank LAPD Chief McDonald, who is here today, along with Deputy Chief Alan Hamilton from the LAPD and LAPD Captain Scott Williams and the entire robbery homicide division, who literally has been working around the clock to gather the evidence that has led to the charges we're going to be filing today. Also from my office, I have Assistant District Attorney Maria Ramirez. I have Director of Specialized Prosecutions, John McKinney. I have our Head Deputy of Major Crimes, Craig Hum. And I have the two prosecutors who will be leading the prosecution in this case, Assistant Head Deputy of Major Crimes, Habib Balian, and Deputy District Attorney for Major Crimes, Jonathan Chung. They will bring their decades of experience to holding this murderer accountable for his actions. At this point, again, you will hear in the media rumors, you will hear speculation, you will hear hearsay. What I'm asking everyone to do is to rely on trusted sources. If it doesn't come from the District Attorney's office, from LAPD, from the coroner's office, or from the courtroom itself, then there's a good chance you are hearing misinformation. Because at the appropriate time.
All right. So the information TMZ has put out could be wrong. That there was blood all over the whole, it was a gory whole, it was unbelievable at the crime scene and at either the guest house or the hotel room. So can we believe what we're hearing? I don't know. We'll have to wait for court. Let's get this thing into court, in public court, where we can see it, and it'll all unfold of what happened. Now, it could be true what TMZ is saying, that there was a trail of blood from the property to he walked. It was real close to where they were, supposedly, I don't know, and left a trail. Well, if so, well, they got him. You know, it's like another OJ case. But in the OJ case, we knew right off the bat, the crime scene, that it was very bloody, you know, because of the news, the reports of someone dying bloody. The news showed up there. There wasn't very many police there. They started rolling, you know, cameras rolling. You could see it was gruesome. You can even see a couple of the, you know, the two bodies and stuff. It was very, but we don't know in this because nothing's been leaked out yet. And like they're saying right now, don't believe anything if they didn't put it out, and could be all hype or whatever.
The actual evidence involved in this case will be presented in a court of law. So I ask for your patience until that is done. But again, please do not rely on rank speculation, rumor, or hearsay to believe that you understand anything about what went on in this case. I'd now like to turn it over to Chief McDonald.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here today. And it's with deep sadness that I address the tragic loss of Robert and Michelle Reiner. On December 14th, 2025, LAPD officers from our West Los Angeles division responded to a death investigation at the 200 block of South Chadbourne Avenue, which is in the Brentwood section of Los Angeles. Upon entering the residence, they discovered the bodies of Mr. and Mrs. Reiner. Detectives from our Robbery Homicide Division Homicide Special Section immediately initiated a comprehensive investigation. The evidence gathered led to the arrest of their son, Nick Riener, who was taken into custody later that night without incident in the Exposition Park section of our city. Today, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office has formally filed charges against Mr. Riener for the murder of his parents. This case is heartbreaking and deeply personal, not only for the Riener family and their loved ones, but for our entire city. We extend our deepest condolences to all of those who are affected by this tragedy. I want to take a moment to recognize and thank our criminal justice partners, the District Attorney's Office.
All right, they're saying they busted him in a park. So is the whole story right that there was blood in the hotel room or guest house or whatever, shower curtain and all kinds of stuff? Or was that the actual crime scene inside the mansion of Mr. Riener? So what can we believe? I don't know. You know, the chief's telling us they got him in the park district. So I don't know if that's at a hotel or he was walking around in the park out there. You know, he's used to being homeless, supposedly, right? From what everybody was saying. He's always homeless. He left his family's house and went, you know, maybe the park out there. I don't know. You know, maybe that's where the homeless hang out, whatever. It's possible.
Led by DA Hochman and everyone who worked tirelessly on this investigation. Their swift action, professionalism, and commitment to justice have been instrumental in bringing clarity and accountability to this case. The LAPD remains steadfast in our mission to protect life and uphold justice. We will continue to support the Riener family and ensure that every step forward is taken with care, dignity, and resolve. Thank you.
We're now taking some questions. Yes, right here in the front.
Could you talk about why you feel this case rises to special circumstances?
So special circumstances is a situation where one of the enumerated factors that lead to elevating in some ways a first-degree murder case to a special circumstance first-degree murder case occurs. One of those special circumstances is called multiple murders. Here we have two, and it qualifies under the definition of multiple murders to allege the special circumstance in this particular case.
Chief,
I saw over here.
Nick Riener found, and was there any evidence on him indicating a crime? And did he say anything?
Yeah, he was found with good, solid police work, investigative tools used by robbery, homicide, and gang and narcotic division detectives with the U.S. Marshal Service Task Force involved as well. So we're thankful for the work that was done. I won't go into talking about what was found or anything that could potentially taint the investigation.
Chief, will you follow up?
Yeah.
Given Nick's history of drug use, was there any indication that he was under the influence at the time of his crime?
No, thank you again. That's another question I can't touch.
And following up on that, is there any evidence of mental illness in his background?
I'm sorry, please repeat the question.
Is there any evidence of mental illness in his background beyond the addiction?
The evidence, any evidence, if there is any, of mental illness for his background will be coming out in the hearings that will occur. We anticipate, again, after the arraignment, the process will go through the normal process a case like this goes through. At the appropriate time, if there is evidence of mental illness, it will be presented in court and in whatever detail the defense seeks to do that. Yes, right here.
Are you anticipating any kind of significant delay bringing this case to trial on the basis perhaps that they have to get into a significant psychological evaluation that would also give your people what they need to describe why these actions happened?
We don't anticipate any significant delay more than is involved in a first-degree murder case with special circumstances. These are some of the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring against anyone. And we anticipate that the discovery that we will produce to the defense will be robust. It will be very involved. They'll want adequate time to review it. They'll want to go through every single factor that they can ascertain in the defense Mr. Nick Riener. So again, this will proceed along the tracks that many of the first-degree murder cases proceed. Do I anticipate it being particularly fast? No, I anticipate it being very thorough. Yes, right here.
Cause of death and time of death.
We are not at this time. Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes, right here.
Did other members of the Riener family help with your investigation so far? And did they provide any information or assistance which led to Nick being arrested?
Let me defer to the chief on this.
Good. Hi, I'm Deputy Chief Alan Hamilton, Chief of Detectives. We don't have any specific information we're going to release at this time regarding the family's information they provided. As we move forward, that information will be discussed in the appropriate venue, which will be the court.
Can you tell us? Yes, in the front here.
Sorry for the chief. Can you talk anything more about just not the condition that Nick was arrested? The residence, was he walking around? Was he observed by people in the neighborhood? Like anything else?
Yeah. So specifically, he was arrested in a public area in the Exposition Park area near the University of Southern California campus. He was approached by the officers and he was arrested without incident. There were no indications that there was no indication that he was going to resist or anything like that. He didn't flee or anything like that. He was taken into custody without issue, and he was transported to our police headquarters facility.
Take a question back there. Yes. He's been alleged, one of these special allegations is that the murder was committed with a deadly weapon or a knife. As to where and how the weapon was located or will be located, that will actually be evidence we'll present in court.
Mr. Hoffman. 2 more questions. Mr. Hoffman.
Let me take a question over here.
Sir, I got a question. I got Johnny Kramer's music movie channel news. Sir, what kind of answer was that? Well, we retrieved the weapon, the knife was used. We believe that's what we got one. We don't have one, but if we go to court, we'll present the weapon that we do have, but we don't have. It's just. Does anybody understand that? All right, so they got him in the park. Is that where he dumped the weapon? Was in the park, or did they find it in his hotel room, or did they find it, where, we have it, we don't. We'll see in court once we get the knife that we have, but we don't. So that's kind of crazy. Let's see what Trump said. It's obvious he has mental illness, but they don't want him to say that. They want him in prison so they can have the money and yada, yada, yada. And it's always that thing. Money. All right, let's listen a little bit more on this. Folks, make sure you go over to JLR's and the other channel and always check them out there. JLR's great when it comes to this. Yeah, they picked them up in the park and on the streets in the park area of the college. Where did they find it?
I think the murders occurred because now we know that there was an altercation on Saturday night at a party. Do we know that this happened Saturday night or Sunday morning?
I'll defer to the chief on this one.
Yeah. We don't have that kind of specificity yet. We're waiting the coroner to be able to try and determine as best they can at this point time of death.
Chief, who called 911? Who called 911? Mr. Hoffman,
we'll take the question back there.
yes. Can you tell us who called 911?
Chief,
we got a radio call from fire department.
I got it.
Okay, so in terms of how the Los Angeles Police Department became aware, it was a request from the Los Angeles Fire Department, who responded to the scene first. We responded to their request for assistance at the scene of the incident. Our initial West LA officers that responded determined that a crime had occurred, and they immediately notified our robbery homicide division they've responded and they've taken over the investigation since that point.
Thank you, everybody.
Take one more.
All right, so fire and rescue was called first to the area. Fire and rescue. They get there and they see a murder. Wow. And then fire and rescue calls them. That's totally different than what we were hearing in the beginning. Did I hear that right? That seems kind of weird. Because we're hearing that the daughter found him, and the masseuse that was supposed to give him a massage that day, Nick and his dad, or Mr. Reiner and his wife. We don't know. So is that even true? I don't know. This is crazy, ain't it? Pretty crazy.
One more question. I'll take it right here.
I know you're hesitant to talk about sensitive evidence, but based on the evidence collected to support these charges, did that include an admission by the defendant to the alleged crime?
So any statements made by the defendant at any point in time would be the type of evidence we will be presenting in court. Let me take one. I'll take one last question right here.
Sorry, I have a question.
Hold on one second. I just identified this gentleman.
Oh, I thought you were talking.
Sorry.
We have an estimated time for completion of the autopsy and the information coming from the time of your office and to the case.
We do not have the estimated time that it will take. We know that they're working on it expeditiously, but as to when they deliver it, we do not have that estimated time. I'll take that one last question back there.
I was just wondering, I know these types of cases are especially difficult. How much do you take into account what the family wants when it comes to charges when you're dealing with a domestic situation like that? And does that factor into whether you will go after life of parole or possibly death?
In these cases, like any of these cases, we will take the thoughts and desires of the family into consideration in making our decision. Thank you all very much.
Celebrities visit the crime scene? Does that taint evidence?
All right. I have some questions. Did you or did you not find the murder weapon? And where'd you find it? That's a question you could tell. You got him. You got the murder weapon. Right? You could at least tell the people, because that answer, we got they were killed with a knife. When we have the knife or got the knife, but we don't have the knife, we'll let you know in court. Oh, jeez Louise. I mean, it's a simple question. Do you have the knife? That's what was asked. The murder weapon. Excuse me. They will go to what, or they will do what, or who gives the most money. That's who they listen to. I don't know. It's pretty crazy if you ask me. Well, hopefully they have the right guy and there's not a killer on the run or on the loose. As Jim Morrison sang, "Killer on the run. His brain is squirming like a toad." I mean, what are we dealing with? Either you got the murder weapon or you don't have the murder weapon and you're looking for it. Or the murder weapon was found at the crime scene. That's pretty easy. You don't have to, you can let people know that you're charging them for a good reason. You got a murder weapon and you got him and something connecting him to it. Nah, I don't run California anymore. They kicked me out of there. What a beautiful night. Look at that. What a beautiful sky tonight. Beautiful. You think he wasn't parented? Trump says he didn't have parents. They pushed him away because of his problem. Maybe we've seen that before. You know, my whole family's been pushed away. People with problems, people don't want to deal with it. But, who knows? It could be. You don't know. Maybe. From what everyone says, they paid for him and, they cared about his problems. He did a movie with his dad. But things go bad. You don't know. But can we believe what TMZ's putting out? The whole thing, there was a trail from the thing to there, to there, to here, to there. Bloody room, and, we don't know. All right, folks. I got that out of the way. I think I'm done tonight with the Rob Reiner stuff. Pretty much now, unless stuff is leaked, it's our own problem to believe it. Right? It's an ongoing case. Police can lie. They could do all kinds of stuff. We've seen that in the Delphi case. So, we'll see. We'll see. Till then, keep your doors locked. Keep your doors locked. We don't know if it's true the family found them. What do I think? Maybe the family found them and they called the fire or rescue or police, and fire rescue answered first before police and found them, and they called them. I don't know, because the police are saying that fire and rescue called of a murder. Well, I don't know. You folks have a great night. God bless. And I'll be back. What a beautiful sunset tonight. Got some greens in there. I got some blues, oranges, pinks. Have a good night. Trump, you might be right.